Seminar 1. Jesus' message to Christians and all people on earth. Jesus, who was born in Bethlehem, is using this opportunity to send this new message to people on earth, including the Jews who are still waiting for the coming of the Messiah. Whether Christian or non-Christian, people know my name, Jesus. The heart of Jesus, who is sending this message to the earth, is complex and perplexing. I feel sad that I cannot summarize and convey my message in a few words. In particular, I know that Christians will doubt the message rather than believe it. However, as a person who came to the earth with the mission of saving the world as the Messiah in the New Testament age, since the time to reveal the truth has arrived, I am telling you the truth before heaven and earth. I came to earth with the mission from God to be the Messiah. In the Bible, I could not reveal all of the conflicts between the religious believers and non-believers in those days. In fact, there are many providential matters that the Bible does not reveal. With the flow of each providential age, God could not avoid changing his immediate plan. I am revealing clearly a part of this hidden providential content to the numerous clergy who have been waiting for the Lord's return. God created human beings to need a physical body during their earthly life. Once they lose it, they go to the spirit world and live there for eternity. Dear saints who are waiting for my return, why don't you pay attention to the fact that God gives dual prophecies in the Bible? Blessings for those who follow his will, curses for those who disobey his will. I came to earth as the Messiah in the New Testament age. What do you think is the meaning of the crucifixion? Do you really think that it was God's will from the beginning, or could it have been the result of human error? Have you thoroughly studied my life? I certainly came with the mission of the Messiah, yet I lived eating and sleeping like any other man on earth. Even though I lived as an ordinary human being, my mission as the Messiah was unique. To state the conclusion, the way of redemption through my crucifixion was not God's original intention. Dear Christians and all people on earth, please pray over this matter while fasting. Then I will appear to you and clearly tell you the truth. When you do it, you should be totally focused on praying with a pure heart. Reverend Sun Myung Moon is the one who came to earth to complete my mission that was not fulfilled through the redemption of the cross. He comes as the true parent to conclude God's providence in the completed Testament age. I came with the mission of the Messiah in the New Testament, but people at that time crucified me. That is why there remained a task for God to fulfill, and the necessity of a second coming. The Messiah in the New Testament age brought salvation to people in the Spirit. Still, history continued with the homework of physical salvation remaining to be fulfilled. Wandering in the alleys of grievance, suffering, sorrow, and pain, God endured endless tension and pressure while he waited to send the Messiah again to earth. After separating good and evil in order to prepare his lineage, God could send Reverend Sun Myung Moon. You know where I was born, it was in a manger. Do you know what the heart of Mary was like at that moment? Dear fellow Christians, could you easily understand it from reading the Bible? Have you not struggled over some incomprehensible events or insoluble questions? How could you understand my heart when I could not fully reveal all the secrets of heaven? How could you understand the intricacies of the providence when so much was not recorded in the Bible? Why was the womb of Mary, Joseph's fiancée, growing large? You cannot understand all the secrets that have been veiled during the providence of restoration. Since human beings are children of God, God cannot help but love them. It is also difficult for you to fathom the heart of God. Reverend Sun Myung Moon is the returning Messiah for whom you have been waiting and waiting. He inherited my mission at the age of 16. Dear Christians, are you still looking up and waiting for Christ to return on the clouds? Reverend Moon travels throughout the world on the clouds. He is investing all of his heart and soul for the realization of world peace. Even today, although he is over 80 years old, he is fighting on the front line. Are you going to hang him on the cross again, like the Romans who persecuted me 2,000 years ago? Aren't you aware of the destruction of Sodom and Gomorrah? God is love. He is waiting. Please receive the Messiah who has descended in the completed Testament age. Do not reject his achievements and his dispensation for the salvation of humanity. Pray with sincerity. I, Jesus, will be with you in your earnest prayers. I sincerely wish that Christians would reflect deeply upon the circumstances when I, the Messiah of the New Testament age, was crucified. I hope they pray about my life and about God's view on human salvation. Think about the circumstances that I could not be married even though I was 33. Think of how my 12 disciples and I often went hungry. My life was filled with grievances. Christians surmise that everything that happened to me was the will of God. However, think whether there was any responsibility on the part of human beings. I came as the Messiah and the Son of Man. As the begotten Son of God, I did my very best to fulfill my messianic mission, but I could not fully accomplish my dreams and desires. Had my will been entirely fulfilled, would it be necessary for me to return? Dear fellow Christians and religious believers, I am truly the Messiah. However, the one who returned to fulfill the messianic mission today is Reverend Sun Myung Moon. He is the second advent of the Lord. Think of the question John the Baptist asked me when I was being hounded as a ringleader of heretics, "Are you the one who is to come?" How do you now see Reverend Moon? Think of the flow of time and examine the incredible achievements he has wrought. Could he do this by human power and ability alone? Jesus, who died physically, cannot come back to physical life and appear to you. Human flesh is to return to the earth as dust once it gives up the spirit. That is the truth and a heavenly law. Read again the Bible verse that states that people will rise from the tombs. God is the author of science and mathematics as the being of the principle. The theory that a dead body that decomposed will be reassembled and float in the air assumes that God can do anything and everything. However, to have God violate his own being is extremely contradictory. You cannot solve questions that way. Look at the world of nature. Look at the process of human growth and the design of human life. God and human beings are in a relationship of parent and child. You will have to experience the heart of God now, who has been leading the providence of salvation for humankind so patiently. What if you Christians could see me right now, sitting and talking with Buddha, whom you consider to be an idol worshiper? What would you think of me? Dear fellow Christians, fellow Buddhists, and believers of various religions. The four great religious founders, Jesus, Buddha, Confucius, and Muhammad, and saints such as Socrates, Augustine, and others, have already held this seminar a number of times. Its theme is always the same: God is the parent of all humankind. During the seminars, we are always studying the divine principle revealed by Reverend Moon. We analyze and discuss it in depth. That is the homework given us by God, who carefully observes all the activities of Reverend Moon on earth. God has also directed that the major religious leaders in the spirit world unite and cooperate with earthly people for the salvation of humankind. We religious founders have no barriers among us. We are united as one, through the Messiah who appears on earth in the completed Testament age and gives rebirth to all humankind as the children of God. We are praying about and discussing how to create one world centered on God. The conflicts and confrontations often seen among religious people are resolved here in the spirit world. It took long time for this to happen, to persuade people to understand one ultimate truth: the creator of human beings is God alone. Likewise, in order to bring peace on earth, it will be necessary to break down the barriers among all religions on earth. Earthly leaders of each religion should discuss the commonalities and differences among their different faiths. Together they should choose the strongest points from each, while showing the virtue of humility before others. Would non-believers not be guided in the right direction by following their example? I hope that all religious followers, especially Christians, can unite as one, and that I can meet them all in one place. The fact that Jesus from Bethlehem in Judea could send a message to earthly people is due to the benefit of the age wrought with the arrival of the completed Testament age. Reverend Sun Myung Moon is the master of this era because he is the Messiah of the second coming. What will you do with him? Are you going to put him on the stand for judgment? Are you going to hang him, as I was hung 2,000 years ago? Are you willing to pray and fast about this? I hope that you will make a wise decision as a religious follower. I send this message to earthly people with a desire to teach people about my responsibility as Jesus, the Messiah of the New Testament age. April 5, 2001.